Get a cup, get a cup, get a cup. It's a cup. It's a cup. Oh, it's a cup. Oh. Hello. Welcome back to another video of Fresh Cut Slim. Today we're looking at the Consumerism Generation by Tommy NFG. Now, I like Tommy's videos. I haven't seen one in a bit, it feels like, but with that being said, the original link's in the description. Without any further ado, let's begin.
Labubu matcha Dubai chocolate crumble cookie.
What?
A matcha sugar cookie with a chocolate mousse, coffee, pistachios, and more pistachio butter. The Labubu is a matcha chocolate with a toffee pistachio filling.
How much would that cost? I know those things are pretty expensive for no reason.
Growing up in a generation where a couple of the main hopes past generations had are gone.
The men look like they're having a fun time. Normally they go to the bar to get rid of the women.
The ability to be financially free and clear all your debt isn't happening for most people in our generation. The people at the top know this so much, it's now common to have buy now and pay later everywhere. Like, they added that to DoorDash. If this isn't a sign to wake up people, then I don't know what is. Shoot, the average person in Gen Z who wants it.
That's crazy. Don't do that. If you are in not a great position and you want to get food, don't friggin' DoorDash a pizza and go in debt, you know, and then have to pay it off over the course of 10 months. Like, that's insane. Shut up! That's insane. Don't do that.
The new car is going to be paying off that thing for the next 10 years. I think you sign a little bit of your soul away when you sign that lease. So the way Gen Z has been coping with this and trying to get away from these thoughts is with what we call consumerism. People have been memeing about it and talking about it on TikTok recently. Consumerism, by its definition, is an economic and social system that encourages the consumption of goods and services as a mean of attaining well-being. And no matter what or where you are in life, everyone contributes to it. Like, when you buy something that makes you happy, that is technically a part of consumerism. But
it is. Yeah, sure. But, like, think of it. Even 500 years ago, even, 500 years ago, 200 years ago, whatever, there's always been consumerism. But that's not really the problem. Oh, my head, the friggin' mask is stuck. The problem is people not being able to control themselves and, putting them into a further worse situation, by doing so. Like, if you save up your money, you invest something or whatever, and then a portion of whatever you're making, you're putting aside to buy something, you want to buy a nice bike, you want to buy an Xbox, you want to buy a fleshlight, you save up your money for that, and then you buy it. That's like the fine kind of consumerism, because you're not going in debt for it, you're not destroying yourself and your family's well-being over it, and you still get what you want. That's fine. But a lot of people nowadays don't have that patience, and it's, okay, I gotta get it now. Gotta get it now. Honey, get the credit card. Gotta get it now. That'll never make you happy. Learn to be content with yourself.
But the problem is when you have to keep buying things or the best new thing that's trending on TikTok to be at peace. And just to make it clear, consumerism isn't only a Gen Z or millennial thing, like it's existed for past generations. You may have seen your grandparents or someone old in your family watching the QVC channel, which is quite literally a channel that just sells you stuff, like that's all their content. And when you see old people watching this, they're in a trance. As soon as they pull up a word to order the item, they move faster than they have the past 15 years to buy it. But no, Gen Z is much smarter. Instead of having a TV channel control us, we have a much more valuable and educational source doing it. TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok and whatever social trends are going around. Whatever trends are going around, Labubu, Stanley Cup! I gotta get the cup! Why? It's a cup! It's a cup! Oh, it's a cup! Oh! It is too hot down here to be doing extra. Because I'm sweating balls!
Talk live streams.
I've seen this. This person made so much money doing that. They get paid every time they show something like that.
The difference between past generations versus newer generations is the amount of ads we get. In the past, you were mainly seeing ads through TV commercials and hearing them on the radio. Typical stuff we're used to, billboards and posters on walls. Most people ignored them, but it was definitely easier for advertisers to reach certain audiences. We all remember certain commercials collectively growing up and they've become memes of their own. Just want to say, Fushigi, that was a scam and I was heartbroken finding that out when I got older. With social media now, every social media app spams ads in your face you can't escape unless you pay to. And so
one thing I freaking hate even on like YouTube, the ads on the shorts, because I've been freaking addicted to the shorts But some of the ads you won't even know it's an ad. I had this yesterday. I was switching, and I watched, it was, doing shorts. I get to one of them, and it starts playing. I have no indication it was an ad until like a few seconds in, and then a sponsored thing came up, and then I was like, oh, this is an ad? So you're tricking me to watching the ad because you're not showing me that it's an actual, ad until a few seconds into it. I hate that.
Sometimes apps like YouTube and Twitter offer a subscription where you can lower the amount of ads you see but not completely remove them. If you're someone that buys something, whether that be Netflix or Twitter or YouTube or something where you're still seeing ads but you see less of it,
you're completely insane.
I'll never understand that. Just pay a couple more bucks to completely get rid of the ads and it'll help you way more. Things like TikTok Shop do ads in a sort of deceiving way to make it seem like they're relatable to you. I can't wait to tell my kids in the future I remember the good old days of TikTok before TikTok Shop and before you had to pay to promote your video for views. I'm gonna show them one of those 28.
Is that how it is now? Because that's what Facebook, Instagram's like. Every time I post something on there, I get like a thing saying, oh, you pay this much and you get a boost. So it's pay to win now, is it?
18 TikToks and be like, yeah, this is what we found funny back then. On TikTok now, you notice a lot more of the TikTok shop on your For You page. And people will put a link for a product in any video, even if it has nothing to do with it. Like, it'll be a clip of a streamer doing something on stream, and then you'll see linked an ad to buy some headphones. The crazy thing is, too, people will sit there and buy it just because it's in front of their face.
I wonder how much they do, because I don't think they do. I on like most of my videos, I advertise, get a cup, get a cup, get a cup. Not many people get cups. Like, I might have one sale a month or something, if I'm lucky. Maybe I need to make better designs or something.
It's built in the system too. We get so many ads on the daily, people end up bound to buy something eventually. Crazy to think, there used to be a time on TikTok not even that long ago when there was no ads. Same thing with places like YouTube as well. People have been getting pissed off at YouTube because they've just kept adding more and more ads to things. Especially now that they've cracked down on ad blockers, and I know people still get around them, but they keep cracking down on them and you have to find different ways to do it. Some people get an ad when watching YouTube on a TV when they just pause the video. Advertisers be thinking this will work, but if I see your product on my TV after simply pausing a video, I'm writing down that product specifically in a notebook to make sure I don't.
See, that I don't mind, because it's not intrusive. If you pause it, you stop the video willingly. I don't care if there's an ad beside it, as long as I can start the video again without having to watch an ad. Right? If I stop a video and then there's an ad, it's like right now. I stopped the video and on the side of my screen, there's one of those side ads. I forget what they're called, but it's not intrusive. It's not bothering me. I can still see it. I don't care for it. I'm not going to click on it, but it's there. And I can start the video again when I want. That's the same idea, I think. And that I don't care about because it's not intrusive.
On TV too, a lot of people get an ad as their first recommended video to watch. I'm not sure how many people are sitting there and willingly clicking on an ad to watch as their first video. The spamming of ads everywhere are just one part of us getting taken over by consumerism. A lot of it does have to deal with our own will to buy things as well. They can shill out however many products they want, but we have the power to choose them or not. And the thing that gets our generation is buying anything that's
I don't know how effective ads are. At least for, I can only ever remember of like one or two times where an ad has actually kind of influenced me to buy anything. And I think it was like a Coca-Cola ad because I saw something and then I got like a Coke or something for some reason. But all the other ads I've seen, like I can't remember a time where I've actually been like, okay, I'm going to go out of my way to click on it because this is something that I need in my life. I can't remember that.
Trending. A perfect example of it is Labubus. Not a single person can tell me where they even came from and the day they even found out about them, but they'll have a whole collection of them already and each one named. And we always have things like this popping off. Everyone runs to buy them and show them off just to forget about it the next month and stop talking about it. Labubus recently have become the top face of consumerism on TikTok. Same thing with matcha as well. And it's so funny because matcha has already been a thing for so long. Like in Japan, they've been having matcha for literal centuries. But just because it started to take over everywhere online, we've officially been draining the world supply of matcha and are running out. Nowadays, something will start trending as one thing. Then because of our insatiable consumerism, it has to be spread everywhere. And because of all this consumerism, the main excuse for boomers for younger generations and why they
how many arms do you have?
Don't have houses and stable income is that we all spend our money on bull and that we got soft hands, brother.
I've fought more men and bedded more women than you've probably ever seen.
Did he say fought or effed? Because it sounded like he just said he's been, bedding men and women, and hey, I don't really know what that has to do with anything. Wait, what the frick does that have to do with anything in general? What?
Hell yeah. Now, you You want to talk about soft hands? Ain't nothing soft about me, boy.
While it is true that younger generations
What the frick was that?
do spend more money on random we eat out more on average and spend money on things I showed like
Labubu Matcha Divine Chocolate Crumble Cookie.
the thing they don't understand is the reason why younger generations do this is because they don't have the same hope they did. A lot of this is a
Maybe in some ways, but it's also self-control. It is self-control. Because I know people who, you know, if you have a little bit of money extra every month, instead of wasting it on stupid things, if you were to just invest it, cryptocurrency, if you were to invest it in something that paid a dividend or like something that just tracks the general market, whatever, right? You know, over time, that's probably going to benefit you. But instead, if you waste it, yeah, like you trade. It's a trade-off. Short-term game of, oh, I get a pizza, towards long-term game where, or long-term gain where in, say, 20 years, what, you know, if you keep putting money aside every month, whatever it is, in 20 years, that's probably going to help you more in the future, right? But a lot of people can't do that. A lot of people just have a short-term, you know, they need a short-term fix, and it's a little dopamine hit. But in the end, it doesn't actually solve whatever problems are going on that is causing you to need that hit.
direct response to things that a lot of the younger generation feel are now out of reach. If you don't have the hope to be able to afford a home in the future and be able to raise a family, then the direct response we're gonna see is consumerism. People are buying things to satisfy themselves in the moment because
I think that's partially true. Like houses are so expensive. I don't have one. I want to get one because like last week the people upstairs have been gone and I've been able to be louder. I've been able to be more energetic. I've been able to, you know, because normally I'm kind of like subconsciously aware that I don't want to be too loud for the people upstairs. I don't even know what I was talking about.
they don't have hope to get any of the things they want. And companies know this, which is why on top of making everything buy now, pay later,
everything has also become a subscription.
I just found out recently that, you know, for new cars, how you get an app to remote start the car and whatnot? Well,
Oh, BMW was selling subscriptions for like heated seats, I think, at one point, or they're trying to do that. That's such a joke.
some of those car brands are now charging you to use their apps. The app for new Honda cars who use the Honda Link app charges you $110 per year just to be able to remote start your car. This is just them being selfish too, because other car brands have their app entirely for free. Don't be surprised when every car brand starts to assimilate to these standards and ruin it for everybody. All it takes is for one brand to make it normal for everybody to conform. And look, I'm not even saying
it takes one brand to do it, and then they have to wait and see how consumers react. If the consumers are fine, the other brands are going to do it too because it means more money. That's the same reason why video games are now being, you know, they recently increased the price on video games up to like $80. I think, was that Nintendo the first ones to do it? And then everyone else started to follow. Was that Nintendo or a different company? But one of them decided to raise it to 80, and now all the other ones are like raising it too. Because if there is not enough pushback, then they know they can make more money and they'll do it.
saying the older generations are wrong for saying those type of complaints, but all of this isn't a one-way street. Like, it's a two-way street. It wouldn't have happened if in the past it was set up for us to be good. Back then, everyone knew, or at least had the mindset, that if you put in the work, you'd be guaranteed a house. A lot of jobs felt a lot more family-oriented, and a lot of people treated their coworkers as like family. But now you're not even guaranteed to keep your job anymore if you put in the work. As soon as your boss
It's very true. It's very true. That's why you need to be self-reliant. Don't rely on the company. Don't rely on a 401k from the company, because if the company goes bust, you lose that. You know, if you can have control of the 401k or get it put into your own account or something like that, where if the company goes under, you're fine. You know, that's what you should be doing. Don't rely on these companies. Because one of my friend's grandmothers worked at a company for like 30, 40 years or something. The company went under. All her retirement is gone. You see, don't rely on others. You can't rely on others. Especially, you can't rely on other companies because you don't know what's going to happen. Companies change. They normally don't stick with the times. So it's very risky doing that.
sees they can save 0.1% of expenses by firing you, they're gonna fire your ass. Consumerism is a direct response to capitalism, and as things keep getting worse, it's going to continue on. You also have social media personas, and everyone's gotta look like one of them. You either gotta dress like Cardi, look like a Y2K baddie, anything new that can pop up. They even have a new meme for one called the Performative Male, which is pretty much a guy who tries to emulate anything that'll impress the host. It's mandatory. It includes matcha, a book about feminism, and you listening to Lana Del Rey.
That's funny.
There'd be a lot of women out here thinking these type of dudes are perfect and every man should simply emulate them.
I'm so glad that I'm not a teenager anymore because, you know, over the last, I don't know, decade or so, I've definitely gone through a lot of personal changes, and I don't relate with a lot of this. I don't relate with consumerism. I am a minimalist. I don't like having, you know, crap. Which, ironically, because if you looked around in my apartment, I have a lot of crap, but I just don't have room, so what do you want? But I don't go out of my way to mindlessly buy stuff. I don't need it. A Labubu isn't going to make me happy. I don't need these things to make me happy, because it doesn't. Happiness does not come from the outside.
Hey, I can't even hate. They play the game beautifully and the game rewards them well. It's way easier now to also hoard tons of things, and a lot of people do it. The worst person's house you'll ever meet is a who can't throw a single item away. They got things from 20 years ago that haven't been touched in that time, and when you ask them why they still have it, they always say it's just in case, but that in case never happens.
It's an actual mental disorder. Man, it's so freaking hot! I have not experienced this kind of heat in a bit.
Like, I promise you won't need that 15-year-old chair or 20-year-old pot set. And now with our unlimited thirst for collecting anything new that's popping for a month, people will have full stacks of something in the span of a week. And
yeah, babe, you can come over to my place. You can do some cleaning if you don't mind.
in the past, for hoarders, it usually took them years to build up their collection. And now it's sped up faster than ever. There are still people with closets full of Stanley cups. As we go on, the dumber the item we collect.
You think after buying the Stanley Cups or like any other of these fads, and then realizing, you know, a month or two later that you shouldn't be doing that ever again, you think people would catch on to that? Because, like, you have a whole freaking thing of Stanley Cups. Now what? Do you not self-evaluate? Okay, be like, okay, I'm going to go buy a bunch of Labubus, and then what? I'm going to have a closet full of Labubus and Stanley Cups? At the end of, you know, the decade, you're going to have closets full of the garbage. Instead of a trophy room, it's a room full of stuff that prove that you're a fool.
I still don't understand how Stanley Cups became such a big thing. People were camping outside stores to snatch the cups up. And if you look at it now, no one's talking about it anymore. With our generation now, too, it's proven.
Now you have a shelf full of garbage that's gonna make you look like a fool when other people come around and be like, why do you have all those? You spent how much money?
That we don't stand on anything. Like, for a while, I remember people were boycotting McDonald's and Starbucks. This was due to allegations that both of the brands were supporting Israel in the war and their efforts. But slowly over time, less and less people stopped doing it and started.
Why are they planning on moving McDonald's to Gaza?
Eating there again. All McDonald's had to do was announce that they were bringing snack wraps back and potentially bringing XXL fries.
Holy crap! Yo! You do not need that. What the frick? That's huge.
And people completely forgot about what was happening. I'm not even sure if the rumors of what McDonald's and Starbucks
are those still being sold. I don't go to McDonald's.
Were doing is true. But at the end of the day, for people, it doesn't matter to them. Starbucks is definitely still getting boycotted by a lot of people. But I guarantee if
you boycott them for the price of their products.
Starbucks comes out with a matcha Dubai chocolate Labubu latte, people will be willing to throw the boycott away just for a day or two. And the way this happens is when more and more people start to post videos about something, the more people are willing to give it and try it. Crumble Cookie is also a pure example of consumerism at its finest. And fair to them because they play the game well. Every week they change the flavors to something new, and because they're updating them so often, influencers are able to immediately make a new video about them trying the new.
Smart. That's very smart.
Flavor. Then when people see the influencers trying it, they think to themselves they have to try the new flavor themselves. Not taking their health into account or nothing. Crumble Cookie is the perfect example of the meme that Americans eat like they have free healthcare. I can't fathom.
Holy frig, my mask is dripping. The cookie thing I'll say is different. And here's why. Yeah, if you're in a bad situation, don't go waste your money on it. But at the end of the day, you're not gonna have a ton of those in your closet to show that you're an idiot. You know, you're gonna eat them and you're gonna enjoy them. That's different than buying 20 friggin' Stanley Cups, which you're only gonna use one, and you're gonna have 19 of them in your closet. Then when your mother comes over, she'd be like, oh, you really are an idiot. You're out of the will.
That you get a box of them and chomp down the whole thing by yourself. One single brownie is 1,130 calories. But hold up, 15 grams.
Whoa, 110 grams of sugar. 1,000 something. Oh, that's it. That's like that's almost half of a man's amount of calories for a day. Like, I think the average male is supposed to have like 2,500 calories a day. That's 1,100. That is almost half of your daily calories. There's no way it's that good. I kind of want to try one now.
Is it protein? Never mind, this is clearly a healthy brand. Sounds like a great pre-workout meal to me. Anyways, that's gonna be it. Let me know how much consumerism has fried your brain as well.
Anyway, I hope you guys liked this video. I liked it, and consumerism's always been a thing, right? You know, there's a term, keeping up with the Joneses, for a reason. It's like, if you are keeping up with the Joneses, which means that your neighbors are buying a new car, then you go and buy a new car. Your neighbors get a flat screen TV or whatever, then you gotta go get that because you gotta keep up with them. That's consumerism. That's been around for a long time, since like the 50s. Don't do that. If you are following that, you are going to remain broke, especially if you're not investing some of your extra cash, if you have any. You have to take accountability. In the end, yes, things are worse now than in the 50s because the dollar has lost. Since the dollar came off of the gold standard, it's lost, I think, 96% of its value. That means that $1 today used to be worth, 96 times that. I think that's the math, something like that. But that just shows you that minimum wage today, if the dollar had not lost any of its value, you would be able to be doing quite well on. If it had 96 times more value. Right? That's the issue. There is no fix to it. And if anything, it's going to get worse because the governments are going to be spending more money and more money trying to deal with the debt. And it's going to collapse at some point. Nonetheless, you have to take responsibility for what you are doing. That's the only thing you can do. You can blame other people for your problems. But if you always have someone to blame, you never have to look at yourself and to evaluate what you're doing. Taking accountability for what you're spending money on, taking accountability for what you're doing with your time. These are all very important that I think people need to learn. That's it for this video, though. Hopefully I'm not, too ranty. I'm probably going to cut down some of my rants or whatever, but hopefully you enjoyed this. Make sure you go subscribe to Tommy NFG. I'm so sweaty right now. It's unbelievable. But I'll see you guys next time.